Hello and welcome to Microbiology Mentor. Today we will be discussing an important topic, Escherichia coli infections. We all know in humans E. coli is the predominant species of gram-negative bacilli in colonic flora. While most strains of E. coli are harmless and not causing any infections, there are some that cause illness ranging from mild to severe, and nearly every organ or body cavity can be infected with E. coli infections. Therefore, it is important to know what infections E. coli can cause, because it represents a significant public health challenge that requires ongoing attention and investment in prevention, detection and control measures to mitigate their impact on individual and communities. So let's see the E. coli infections. E. coli infections can be clubbed as extraintestinal or intestinal. Extraintestinal infections can be caused either by commensal strain or extraintestinal pathogenic strain, while intestinal infections are caused by intestinal pathogenic strains. So in this slide I have talked about different strains like commensal, extraintestinal pathogenic and intestinal pathogenic strain. So the audience must know what are these different kinds of strains. So let's see the different strains. So first I talked about the commensal strains. So the commensal strains are actually the strains that form the bulk of the normal facultative intestinal flora. So these strains lack any virulence trait and they are beneficial as they resist the colonization with the pathogenic organism. These strains do not cause normally infections outside or within the GIT, but can be involved in some extra-intestinal infections in the presence of certain aggravating factors. And what are those aggravating factors? Aggravating factors can be like presence of any foreign body like urinary catheter, or where the host is compromised either due to some local factors like urinary or biliary tract obstructions or systemically immunocompromised conditions can be the cause. Now let's see the other intestinal pathogenic strains which I talked about. These are the strains of E. coli that are capable of causing diarrheal diseases. So they are obligate pathogens. Whenever they are present, they are known to be pathogenic. They are absent in the fecal flora of healthy persons. So this means that whenever these strains are present, they are known to be pathogenic. They are of different pathotypes with unique virulence traits, and these virulence traits are acquired by in certain plasmids or bacteriophages. So they have the special ability to cause ranges of infections from enteritis, enterocolitis and colitis. So let's see what are extraintestinal pathogenic strain, the third type of strain which I talked about. So these strains, as the name itself explains, that they are causing some extraintestinal manifestations like commensal E. coli strain. They are also found in the normal intestinal flora, but how they are different, that they are not causing any gastroenteritis symptoms. So they are causing extraintestinal infections or extraintestinal infectious syndrome, and it can be both in immunocompromised or in immune intact patients. Extraintestinal pathogenic strain again have acquired certain virulence factors encoded either on plasmid or in bacteriophage DNA to cause infections to the human being. So now let's go to extraintestinal infectious syndromes caused by E. coli first. Now first is urinary tract infections. Urinary tract infections is actually the site most frequently infected by the extraintestinal pathogenic strains. It can be causing infection in both ambulatory as well as hospitalized patient, and the clinical syndrome associated includes uncomplicated cystitis, pyelonephritis or catheter associated urinary tract infections. Other manifestation include abdominal and pelvic infections. It is almost second most common site after urinary tract of the infections due to extraintestinal pathogenic strains, and the clinical syndromes associated with these include acute peritonitis secondary to the fecal contamination, spontaneous bacterial peritonitis, dialysis associated peritonitis, diverticulitis, appendicitis, intraperitoneal or visceral abscess like hepatic, pancreatic, splenic, infected pancreatic pseudocyst, and septic cholangitis or cholecystitis. Now, other manifestation include pneumonia. Here, the audience must make a note that E. coli is not usually considered a cause of pneumonia, but enteric gram-negative bacilli like E. coli accounts for only 2 to 5% of the cases of community-acquired pneumonia. However, these microorganisms are common cause of pneumonia among residents of long-term care facilities. So they are causing hospital-acquired pneumonia. Most common cause, that is around 60 to 70% of the cases of hospital-acquired, particularly among post-op and ICU patient due to increased rate of oral colonization. Now, coming to the other manifestation by E. coli. E. coli is the leading cause of neonatal meningitis and septicemia with high mortality rate. Usually, the strains that causes these meningitis syndrome are K1 capsular antigen. Other clinical manifestation includes the cellulitis or musculoskeletal infections. E. coli contributes frequently to the infections of decubitus ulcers and occasionally to the infections of ulcer and wounds of lower extremity, particularly in the diabetic patients. Occasionally causes cellulitis, infections of burn sites or surgical wound, particularly when infections originate close to the perineum. Now, other clinical manifestation by E. coli is bacteremia. So, bacteremia by E. coli can arise from primary infections at any extraintestinal sites. The primary E. coli bacteremia includes percutaneous intravascular devices, transrectal prostate biopsy, neonatal, in neonates due to increased intestinal mucosal permeability, or in neutropenia and chemotherapy induced mucositis, trauma and burn. However, apart from primary E. coli bacteremia can be secondary followed by urinary tract or abdomen, which are the most common sources of E. coli bacteremia. Apart from these extraintestinal manifestation, intestinal manifestations are caused by various pathotypes of E. coli like enterotoxigenic E. coli, enteropathogenic E. coli, enteroaggregative E. coli, enteroinvasive E. coli, enterohemorrhagic E. coli, and diffusely adherent E. coli. So, for better understanding of the intestinal illness caused by various pathotypes of E. coli, you may refer to my previous video on diarrheogenic E. coli. And with this, I come to the end of the infections caused by E. coli. Thank you.